listen, Bonte is still talking about wrestling in the other chat as we speak, so he can eat shit for all I care.
See, when I'm not going to be on the show, I get gone. That's something he needs to learn. You can't
Facts,
be in the
bro.
other
Like Peyton was like,
Yeah, no, you can't.
We ain't hear from Peyton until like 3 o'clock the next day. I was like, all right, bet Peyton has something to do.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta read the room, right? And like lay low.
Yeah, like if I can't make it, I'm going to make sure I am gone.
It's like, listen, if I'm gonna get on Twitter, let me lurk. Let me not like, let me not retweet. Let me make sure I know who I'm liking, so it's not like on
Facts, so it don't pop up on the time like, oh, you up?
Yeah, exactly. If I'm going to no-call, no-show the job, you know what I'm not going to be? Eating at the restaurant across the street.
Hey, there he is right there. Hey, bitch.
No, Vontae up here front row, feet up on the counter. While we up behind the counter, while we're up there on the grill making the Waffle House.
What did he do? It was one time like we dead ass needed him to do Ask Bonte, and he was like, nah. But he was like going off in the chat about something race related, and the whole time I'm just like staring at my phone like, you raggedy bitch. Plug your microphone in.
You really gonna disrespect me like this? Like, all right, bro.
I said, oh, true.
Should I run to the restroom quick, or
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Nah, you good. Go ahead.
I just want. All right, give me 3 minutes. Cause I want to wash my hands.
No, you good.
Well, please. I hope you do that every time. I hope this is a special.
Don't just do it on our account.
Right? Don't look. No, we ain't no guests. Now we ain't no company. Break out the good claws for us. You know.
I understand you don't want to use the dial while we there, but the soft soap got to be close by, baby.
You know, Peyton's bathroom has the matching hand soap and lotion.
Without a doubt, 100%.
100%.
100%.
That shit smells like cherry vanilla.
Has to.
And it is lovely.
Has to.
It got the
thick lathering hand soap. He's got to have it.
They went to a Bed Bath and Beyond and stocked up.
Man.
And I ain't even mad at it, honestly.
Talk about it.
That's how I know you got money. When you spending money on hand lotion for the bathroom, you got money paid.
That's a different tax bracket.
I should leave all this in just for that.
I put water in my shit, so. I did it. Look, look, man. You got to get the big like jug. But you gotta let it get a little. You gotta mix it, man. You got a little water to it. It ain't gonna hurt.
Look, I may have put some water in my cereal a time or two when I was younger.
Hey, man, you gotta get how you live, bro. They talking about tariffs and taxes and all that shit. And that shit gotta last now.
I'm gonna leave all this, everything from when we started roasting Bonte. I'm gonna leave it in.
Good.
It's from
you hear that, Bonte? You're getting ethered on your podcast. Ethered.
I mean, like, time stamped and everything, brother. Like, hey, man, I see you.
I'm sorry. Like you don't no call no show and then go dance in front of the store with the sign and the spinning music.
Man,
like you a cell phone carrier trying to get new activations.
Oh man,
the disrespect. I feel more slighted about that than what we're gonna talk about in an episode.
I mean, honestly, that's
a lot of dastardly things happened. Dastardly.
I mean, yeah, this is probably more exciting than the race, honestly, or the weekend. I should say.
I'm definitely. I'm turned now. I wasn't looking forward to coming in here, but now
this weekend wasn't. This weekend was Bass without the B. That's as one of my YouTubers say.
This one's for you.
Man,
I think I made it.
Who had the best throwback this weekend?
See, that's what that bum was supposed to be here. He was supposed to play rate the throwbacks.
You had 1 week. The 1 week.
Had one job, bro. Like we don't even do Ask Bonte no more because you didn't come here enough. You had one job.
1 week we need you.
One damn week we need your all-knowing Spain scheme ass. You over there watching Raw.
And you know the worst part, Raw on Netflix now. You know he can watch that.
Facts, bro. You don't even gotta watch it live. Like, who cares? You can spin that back tomorrow.
You could hit pause.
Man, you know you don't want to get spoiled on that, right? He's probably got wrestling Twitter.
You can't spoil wrestling, bro. It's a script.
I feel you can.
I mean, you could just not look at Twitter for an hour.
You think he's capable of that?
I don't know, man. I just don't know about you, but that's so funny. The 1 week we need.
The 1 week I need you, bro. I asked you. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Oh, you asked him? That's even worse.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, never mind. That's even worse. That's disrespectful.
I asked him. It's at the end of the episode. You can play it back because Jet said something about it, and then Monsters was like, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea. We should rate the throwbacks." Hey, Bonte.
This is the.
So
by my math, we're like 6 minutes in, approximately. This is the messiest episode.
Oh, did y'all already do your?
No, shut up. We're not doing that. I'm just ready. God damn it. Now I gotta cut all that out. You gotta cut it all out. I just said we're not gonna do it, and I was just gonna start the show where we started shit talking Bonte.
Oh,
and then here you go bringing that up, man. I didn't want to do the talk.
Oh, I got tears in my eyes.
Oh, you had one. You had
one job, Peyton.
You just had one thing to not talk about. You just go waltzing in, bringing it.
Lord.
All right, run it. Fuck it, we're doing this live. One take. I'm not cutting it out. I ain't cutting it out. You just shame gonna live on the record. Right
man.
in.
Oh,
Start the show, please.
So unserious. I can't even give him credit for that because he's not here. Damn, Bonte.
All right, so welcome everyone to the show. This is our messy episode. This is our one mulligan for the year. This is a throw. You know what? The Darlington has throwback week. This is our throwback to our first 2 weeks of a production because that's about as polished as we are right now.
Please.
Our worst 2 episodes.
We can do better. Let's pull it back. Welcome to another episode of Victory Lane Vibes. We are your hostess with the mostesses. It's Jarrett. It's Peyton. It's Art. Vontae was supposed to be here, and the teacher called, and he said that he called out sick. So, hi, Vontae. We're here to talk about Darlington. I guess the 3 of us can discuss the paint schemes since Vontae's not here to hold his weight. But we'll I feel bad.
Why do you feel bad?
I was gonna say
keep moving. Keep moving.
You know what? Fuck it.
Keep moving.
We're
powering through it.
We're moving. We'll start with Xfinity. I don't know. The Toyota paint schemes kind of came through this weekend. Brandon Jones realizes he knows where the accelerator is. Realizes he knows how to pass cars, and wins in the Matt Kenseth gorgeous, beautiful Menards paint scheme at Darlington. I almost tweeted out that Matt Kenseth won the Xfinity race Saturday. I was this close.
I'm so glad you didn't.
I didn't want to have the backlash.
Yeah,
I didn't want to. That's like a Carl bit. I didn't want to do it.
Peer pressure works. Great. Good to know.
It does work. My own self-proclaimed peer pressure. It just shout out to the commitment. Drivers have a lot of things to say as soon as they get out of the car and the microphone shoved in their face while they're still on the hot track. And this man thanked all his sponsors, was going down the fire chute, paused, kissed his wife, gave her a hug, right back to it, naming off all the sponsors he wanted to thank. I just feel like that should be more commended because you have to go straight into, media trading. I won the race. Hi, Jimmy Little. Let's talk. But yeah, Brandon Jones wins in Darlington. Thoughts, feelings, opinions. Let's talk about the Xfinity race. All right, we'll start with you. What did you think of the little Busch Light series?
I have to regain my focus. I thought this was a pretty good race for the most part. You know, a few of the players that made the most exciting were all Cup regulars for me, and none of them won. I think we saw a vintage throwback Ross Chastain performance because he was a bull in the China shop. He got into it with C. Bell, ruined his day. He got into it with Chase, and they seemed like they were a little heated at the end. But then, yeah, Brandon Jones gets the win. I felt like this race was good. I felt like there wasn't a ton of the tire fall off that I was expecting from a Darlington race. Maybe I could be completely wrong on that, but I just feel like it was a solid race. I mean, it was better than Sunday's race, to steal a Bonte line. Like, it was better than Sunday, but uh, I don't know. Why? I guess I could throw a question back to y'all. Why is Brandon Jones? He seems kind of divisive to people, and I don't follow Xfinity close enough to know why. But it seems like some people are like, oh yeah, Brandon Jones, good for him. Like, he's a good guy. He went through this long, like 2.5 year streak
Hmm.
drought without a win, and they're happy for him. And the other people are like, yeah, he sucks. I hate this. I just
I just think I think he still gets a bad rap, just like how he left Joe Gibbs originally. Like he
okay.
sort of like made a power play. He's like, no, I'm leaving, and like took his ball and like went home, and then he's like, oh, hey guys, can I come back? So I think that's why I wouldn't say bad blood, but I think everybody just like cuts their eyes at him, just because he
Mhm.
made like such a stink on like I can get by without you, and then he hadn't won since he was in a Joe Gibbs car. So
I I think the thing for me with him is it's just that sort of weird Xfinity lifer. I mean, the dude's 28 years old, so he's not particularly young. So I don't know, like, because he's been on top teams, but 6 wins in the top series. I don't know if it's anything like personal that people on NASCAR Twitter just don't like him, but I don't know. Like, he seems to do Xfinity lifer in a way that somehow Justin Allgaier makes appealing. He somehow makes it like, ew, you must be damaged goods. But yeah, I've got no real qualms with the guy.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, it's fine race. Kind of, I guess the more that I think about it, the more I chew on it. It was kind of underwhelming for me, I guess. Darlington, as I will continue to bring up every time I can, is one of my top three favorite tracks. This is to me maybe the most quintessential NASCAR track. I think almost more so than even a Martinsville or a Bristol. I know NASCAR is known for short track racing, but there's something about Darlington that's just so uniquely NASCAR to me. I always have obscenely high expectations for the series when it goes to the track because I know if it's a bad show, it's not the track's fault. Right? There's some tracks we go to and we're like, okay, this track sucks. Like Texas is terrible no matter what. But like when you go to Darlington, it's on you. If they have a bad time, you're the problem. It's not them. It's you. And this weekend was kind of some of that. So a bit underwhelming, but we move. We do what we do. It was alright though, It was alright. It was alright.
you know what you think about this series?
Uh, so it's so nice to hear Art say things that are correct. In terms of the prestige and the feel, and yes, feeling NASCAR, it doesn't get any better than Darlington. I'm not going this year for the Southern 500, and it's already breaking my heart. It's a fantastic facility. I recommend anyone who is listening to this, once you've left Atlanta, you drive over and prepare yourself to go to Darlington because it's just a fantastic track. It oozes history in a way that you can just feel all of the amazing things that have happened at this track. It's extremely unique in a way that only NASCAR can pull off the design of it. No other series could probably even race there and do it successfully. It's just amazing, amazing place. And the food is actually sneakily very quite good. I don't know why I said very quite good. It is very good food there at the track. In terms of that race, underwhelming, and once again, to copy Art, yeah, the drivers who brought the most interesting stuff were the Cup drivers being sloppy. And when we say being sloppy, it was really just Ross Crash. Wow,
Ross
Ross.
crash chained. Is that what you were about to say?
That was a Freudian slip. It's Ross Chastain crashing into all of his peers in the Cup Series, which seems really counterproductive to just go ahead and cause any unnecessary friction when your team's already having a down year to go ahead and just. I don't think anything that happens in the Xfinity Series among Cup drivers really transfers. Like, I don't think that I don't think Chase Elliott's going to go dump the one car because he closed up a gap to tied him on Saturday. But still, it probably doesn't help in terms of your reputation. Then, of course, Ross Chastain does the thing that Ross Chastain does, looks at the film and says, oh, I guess I should have left more room there. I'll have to go think about that. And then he'll just do the same thing, except 6 times worse the next weekend. So that was pleasant to see. Just Ross Chastain being Ross. Yeah, I guess it was nice seeing Brandon Jones succeeding well. Like I said, I was surprised that he did not excel at Junior Motorsports, although I still think Junior Motorsports is a strange team where it seems like just a handful. They seem uneven in the pace of their cars at JR Motorsports, so it is a little bit. It's not necessarily the most surprising thing they didn't win there, but it was good to see him, I guess, just be relevant in this top equipment. But yeah, is this a race that I would bother keeping on the DVR? No. The throwbacks that they did were actually quite good. I'm in love with I believe it was Ernie Irvin, the Kodak car. That car is gorgeous. And then also the 28, the Haviland scheme. Listen, that bright chartreuse for the numbers, I think that was what Kyle Sieg thing, just fantastic. I mean, if the die casts weren't going to cost $1,600 here in a couple weeks, I would maybe even look at getting one, but I don't want to take money out of my 401k. Oops.
You got any left?
No, it's all gone. But anywho, yeah, thank goodness for these tiny sponsors who don't have any real notoriety, that they can just say, like, hey, we're taking your logo and we're just making it look like a company that people actually recognize. Here you go. And just deal with it, unlike these blue chip companies that you have to deal with in the Cup Series that get kind of huffy and puffy when, oh, my car, the car looks like someone else's product. But anywho, yeah, a wholly forgettable race except for Ross Chastain crashing everybody. And then also, I think that Brandon Jones looks like the person at the bank who denies your small business loan. So that's what his haircut reminds me of, is the person who denies you for a small business loan. So that's all I got.
Price of brick going up.
Yeah.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
But look at that haircut. That haircut is the one that walks out from the back room and says, yeah, I'm sorry, we don't think your soul food restaurant is going to be able to qualify for this small business loan.
Why has it got to be soul food, baby?
This seems very specific. Is there something we need to
Were you denied a small business loan for your soul food concept?
If I was, it would have been accompanied with that haircut.
We're going to pause the show right quick to give you a quick update on our partners over at Home Field Apparel. So as you all know, it's a season of speed turn 2. I'm sitting here in my Good Rent shirt. It's nice and soft, nice and comfy. And we just released the McLaren collection year 2. So there's more Pato Award stuff, more McLaren merch as they warm up to get ready to unload all the stuff that Homefield has plans for the Indy 500. So let's just recap what we've released. You got your Hendrick merch, you got your 3 merch, and now you have McLaren merch. You know where to find it? Over at homefieldapparel.com. Use our promo code VLV25, save 15% off your first order. It looks good on us. We want to make sure it looks good on you too. I really can't say it. I know we've said it, time and time before. We like to get higher from supply, and you really can't beat the quality. You really can't beat the fit and finish. The national championship game just ended tonight, so I know they're going to put up some Florida national championship stuff. Grab that, and also grab you some of the racing collection from our partners over at Homefield Apparel. So remember, homefieldapparel.com. Use our promo code VLV25, save 15% on your order. Get the app, Shop Pay, Klarna, PayPal, Pay in 4, however you got to get it how you live, and let us see what you got. Remember to tag us, send it to us. Let's see what you used the VLV25 for. We'll see y'all next week. Now back to whatever we were talking about on the show.
I'm not saying he's turned me down.
What
for
would
a
have
loan.
been your signature dish at this restaurant?
Some ribs,
that you
probably.
operate?
Oh, of course, it'd been ribs. Yeah.
Yeah. See, he said that like those old guys, the unks who are like, yeah, I could have gone to the league if my ACL ain't blow out my senior year, boy. I tell you, I would have been a problem, man. My ribs, boy, rubbing his hands together. Oh man, that would have been a problem.
I'm just saying, the next time you all see Brandon Jones with his head of hair, you will sit there and think about him denying loans, and you won't be able to remove that from your mind. Like, there are certain haircuts that say certain things. So, like Austin Cindric, his haircut says, I spent $7 on this. Brandon Jones' haircut says, you're not getting approved for this loan. And you know I'm right on what I'm saying here.
All right, well, since it was there's a lot of points of contention this race weekend, but I'll start with Project One. Drivers are interviewed in the bullpen, and they were asked their take on Throwback Weekend. A lot of drivers said, nah, keep it. Don't need to do it. It's gotten old. Bubba was quoted saying that it's cool, but we're past that with our partners. He thinks it's still good to have, but he's on the side of he's glad that they don't participate. What are your thoughts? Do you like Throwback Weekend? Does it need to be moved to a different race or a different racetrack? Like, sort of, what are y'all's vibes with the Throwback Weekend? Keep it, or let's put a pause on it till we get some more notable schemes to call back to.
Who going first? Me? I'll go first. Actually, I'll take the mic. This is one of those topics that I am actually very passionate about. I think any person who, whether they're a driver or whoever, that is arguing or making a point to get rid of these throwback weekends are completely out of touch. And it pains me. This is, as I said to y'all privately over the week, I was like, this is a rare Bubba L for me. Like, I guess we got to get one out of the year. But yeah, I just think, the sport of NASCAR has taken a lot from its fans. There's that famous clip, I think, of like DW or somebody who's talking about about NASCAR taking. They got to give back to the fans from like in the 90s or whatever. This is one of the few things they have given back in the last 15 years. That is great. Like, this is actually great. And I want to shout out a couple people who showed support for it. Kyle Busch came out, said they liked it. Logano, Keselowski. Even Chase Briscoe, I have to give you credit, even though I don't want to. But like, they get it. And like, there's so many memorable moments and marketing ideas that have come out from Throwback Weekend. I mean, there's so many schemes and smaller teams, like the Payton's point, these smaller teams that we don't think about, we don't care about on a week-to-week basis, that are getting their chance to shine, right? Like, I'm about to go buy a Leland Honeyman shirt. Didn't see that on my forecast for the year, but I'm about to, right? And I think it is nice to give these teams that aren't running up front some of the attention they wouldn't get otherwise. And it is really nice to have something that can be a tribute to some of these drivers, to some of these moments, to even not just in NASCAR, but like we saw with Wood Brothers, it's a whole different series, right? And for the drivers that are with us, I imagine they get a kick out of seeing their scheme brought to the modern day and have them come to the track and give them their shine. Like we saw Carl this weekend was at the track. You see Terry Labonte in past years, all these other guys. And I just feel like this is the one thing that has been, from the fans, the majority of the fans at least, has been universally loved. And if they were to get rid of this, I think it's just such a step on your own, what moment. Like, it's just so unnecessary. So I hope they bring it back. I wish you could see more teams involved. And like, I totally get, and I don't blame any teams that don't get involved because the sponsors don't want, like, we get it. We understand the reasons why some teams don't do it. Like 2311, we speculate it's because of the sponsors. But the ones that are open to it, let them do it, man. I just think it's such a cool thing. And it's one of the things that I look forward to in the season, besides it being at Darlington. And like I said, earlier, like this is the most quintessential track NASCAR track to me. So I think it would be foolish to move it. I want Darlington to have 2 dates, but with its second date being around the playoffs, like that's got big enough stakes. We don't need to take any extra focus off of another date to put it on that race because it's in the playoffs. Every playoff race is so important. So they absolutely should keep this here. I just think I want them to lean further into it. I want the old broadcast style. Like Fox needs to step up and give me my ticker going across the top of the screen like I watched as a kid. Bring back some old voices and put them in the booth, you know? Where was DW at? Why didn't I get DW this weekend? Like this would have been once a year I should get to hear DW in the booth, damn it. And this should have been the weekend for it. Like lean into it. I just feel like it's such a miss to not do this. And so for like Bubba, Chase, Willie B was another guy who came out for against it. Like y'all just gotta eat it for a week, man. Y'all be all right. You'll be back to the same schemes you ran every week next week, and it won't matter. But let us have this one.
Peyton.
So I went back and forth on this. For me, the people who are moaning loudly, I feel like are also the same people who I've had to deal with them moaning about the door numbers being moved forward for the past 4 years. And I can't stand those people because, come on, is this really what's going to upset you so much? But I will acknowledge that the throwbacks are very cool. I get excited to see them. It is nice to reminisce and think about the olden times. I mean, when you see Terry Labonte's car sliding into the inside wall 4 laps in the race, it just takes you back to when you were a youngster in ways that, Kyle Larson was able to reimagine for us. But no, being honest, it's a cool concept. The big concern is how long do you let it linger before you pretty much have to say, like, hey, it's time to move on? I think they had, I believe, 19 cars in total that had some sort of throwback scheme. So essentially one half of the field, a little over one half of the field. So definitely it still seems to have value. I think when essentially it gets to fewer than I would say probably fewer than 10, or where it's less than a third of the cars, it might be time to scrap it. And it'll be interesting to see whether that runs its course. If I'm a sponsor and I'm paying $10 million a year on a sport that the ROI might be difficult to get the full value from, it maybe I would be hesitant to say, like, hey, so we're going to get limited TV time potentially, and then we're also not going to get our preferred scheme, our preferred color choices. It's not necessarily going to fit our brand guidelines. I mean, Arthur, you work in marketing. You know how important I imagine these things are to a company if they're making this sort of investment. So I understand from the sponsor standpoint, hey, if we're only going to be on the car for 5 races, I want to make sure each time we've got consistent branding. Now, from the aspect of the drivers, I mean, I think that's just them giving their opinion on whether they think the concept has run its course. I don't think it's them sort of slapping back at the fans. And I also think, too, I mean, at least in Bubba's case, I can understand why he might not want to say things that would make it seem like he's at odds with the people who are sponsoring his car that week. It might not be a great look to say, like, oh, I really wish we had a throwback scheme, but we just didn't do it this year. Perhaps it might be a bad look, or like I said, he just might think it has run its course because so few teams are doing it. Chase's throwback scheme that seemed to have a lot of people upset, but I don't know if that factored in. But I understand where they're coming from. Like I said, I think for me it's a very cool thing. I loved it. What was it, 5 or 6 years ago, where the pit crews and everyone was in sort of period correct sort of attire. Those things were really quite nice, but I'd say they keep doing it. But I think once you get to where it's a third of the field doing it, it's probably time to just go and let it run its course. If they want to bring it back maybe once every other year or something like that. But yeah, it's just a difficult place with sponsors calling most of the shots. And like I said, I completely understand why they wouldn't. So I could take or leave it, but it is fun to see.
You both bring up good points. I'll just combine them. I think it is good for the sport. I feel like Brad Keselowski said that it's not for the drivers, it's not for the team, it's for the fans. Because the fans they really get into it. There's always this guy that said Richmond that always dresses up like Dale Earnhardt, so I know like he's in it to win it. I just think it should be done on a different race weekend. I know Art, you brought up a point like you kind of don't want to make the playoff races gimmicky, but I feel like that'll just add that extra level of excitement. Personally, if you're going to do throwback weekend, do it during the Southern 500, just because I know that NBC actually gives a damn, and they'll do like the retro broadcast, and they'll invite like Dale Jarrett to call the race for the booth from a stage and stuff like that. That they actually buy more into it. So I feel like if you want to keep throwback weekend, let's do it. Let's just change races. So my choice would either be the Southern 500 or the Bristol night race. That's also conveniently in the playoff spot. But you just give those two race dates have nostalgia in them, because those used to be like one of the few night races we got back in the 90s, which made it even more special. So I feel like that those would be a great place to bring it all back. Just let's get the whole vibe back to throwback weekend. So that's my piece. I mean, I'm cool with not everybody participating. I don't really have an issue with it. I mean, the 23 was decked out retro anyway, just with the way they did the color scheme for Columbia this year, or for this race rather. It had a real like 90s vibe to it. So they participated. They didn't have to throw back anything, because you can throw back to Jimmy Spencer. Don't want to do that bullshit. So I was fine with not participating. I apologize. That was a rude. But yeah, that's my part. You both came off mute, so I know somebody about to say something crazy. Just
I was
go
just
ahead.
gonna say, damn, fuck Jimmy Spencer. I guess what'd he do to you?
I went to bed to that bullshit.
I mean, like, yeah, like I'll just put a bow on my thoughts, and like I totally get. Like I said, I don't blame any team that doesn't do it, because, and I mean, they can't come out and, like you said, they can't come out and say our sponsors are the reason why we're not doing this. Like I will assume that is the reason most teams aren't, who didn't do it, aren't. I don't hold that against them at all, because you got to keep the lights on, and we know this is an expensive sport, but the ones that have the ability to and have that relationship with the sponsors where they can do it, I just think it's such a cool thing to do. And, I just don't feel like we're really running out of schemes, honestly. Like, I mean, every year they got a new Jeff Gordon scheme for the 24 that they haven't done before. And I could think of at least a half dozen off the top of my head they could reach into the bag for. And I don't know. I like the ones too where it's unique, where, like, I know Bubba did a throwback to one of his cars earlier in his career. I think C-Bill did a throwback to like one of his dirt cars or something like that he drove when he was younger. Like, I like those as well. Like, they don't have to be NASCAR schemes you're throwing back to, but I think it's very unique, and I just don't want to see that go away. I feel like I said, this is one of the few things that we all love, and I would love to see it stick around. I think this is one of the few traditions. It's also very uniquely NASCAR, right? I don't think any other racing series, correct me if I'm wrong, does this. Yes, no, maybe. So I feel like it's an easy way. It's kind of weird to me though how like some teams, like the Six, had a throwback last year, and then this year they didn't. Like, what happened? You won in that scheme. But yeah, I'd love to see it come back.
So before we get into go ahead, Peyton.
I did just remember that last year was that amazing Japanese touring car series super scheme. So actually, I'm fully reject everything I said. They need to all be doing throwbacks, because God, that car was so good.
See.
So before we get into the race, pick your winner from Xfinity and Cup. Who had the best throwback scheme?
That's hard.
For me, it was the 4-car in Xfinity, just because I can't recall that being done a whole lot. Everyone's done the Coors Silver Bullet, but the 4, that Kodak photo Ernie Irvan scheme is just gorgeous.
For Xfinity, mine it's a toss-up. It's the 44 and the 10. So Poole and the 44 threw back to the Jeff Gordon Looney Tunes car, and it just looks
Fire.
perfect. I mean, it looks perfect. They absolutely nailed it. And then on the 10, he did a throwback to Adam Petty's scheme, and it looks amazing. Like, it looks so good. Those two were the top two for me in Xfinity. And since I'm talking, I'll just keep going. In Cup, Cup's a bit harder. Honestly, I might go either the 5 or the 11 for me. Probably the 11, I think, just because I've seen the 5 in something similar, and Denny's scheme is one that is not hampered by the numbers being moved forward. Like that one, it still looks great. It works, so I'd go the 11.
In the Cup Series for me, I've got to go with the 21, doing I believe it was Jimmy Clark, doing one of his IndyCar schemes, that Lotus. Just unique style points, just clean, and I think it's one of the benefits that they have by sort of them being their best sponsors. So they've got a lot more sort of leeway to get really, really into it. So that was my favorite.
I'll give a honorable mention to Cindric with a Dale throwback. You know, it's kind of weird. You'd think they would have done a Dale throwback in the 3 by now, but I don't think they've ever done it. Have they? I don't think they ever have. It's such a layup.
Yeah.
Branding, sponsors, copyright infringement.
I feel like they got the same sponsor. Like they got the same sponsor though. Like every race of the year, so they have to have a good relationship with them. You can't be like, let me just make it black one week.
No, he's not worthy.
He's not the real 3.
He's not the real 3.
That's not the topic for debate, but. I'm gonna give my one last one. Sorry, I if I don't say it now, I'll never talk about it. My LVP is Blaney's. Blaney's is terrible, and I get what they were going for, but it ain't work. They missed it.
I feel it just Xfinity cooked. Like Harrison threw back to his dad. Dean Thompson threw back to Jamie McMurray. Like flipping the 11 threw back to Martin. Like, come on, bro. Like
the 99 was a Burton throwback too. That was great.
Yeah, like Lightning. The Xfinity. They got that was the Exide throwback. Yeah, the worst person in the world drives that car, but good on you. Even Connor Zillich did a throwback to the Nationwide scheme with his WeatherTech car. Like Xfinity gets it right, and I don't know it's because the numbers in the same spot they allegedly are supposed to be, but like the schemes just work over there. On the Cup side, I don't know. I really, 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 really like Joey Logano's car yesterday. I really liked his car.
Yeah, that one was good.
Yeah, I really liked his car. Christopher Bell's was trash. He gets my lights too bright on paint schemes. That was awful. Just I understand where he was going with it, but the execution was just meh. And then obviously I already ordered it. I truly did order that Denny Hamlin car. You can't give me that sexy ass Sports Clips car and expect me not to buy it. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, he won. And he did. And we're gonna talk about that now. Moving on to yesterday, the Cup race. What was it? The Goodyear 400? Whatever it is. Make Darlington races 500 laps again and don't just save it for the playoffs. This is the first time where I feel like NASCAR's golden rule to not throw a caution in the middle of a pit cycle changed the outcome of the race dramatically. William Byron I thought he was gonna pull a Martin Truex and run away with it like Truex did in the 18 Coke 600. But the cautions didn't fall his way. His pit crew didn't do their job in time, and the second fastest pit crew on pit road, the 11, gets Denny done in 8.3 with a 4-tire stop, and he leads the 11 crew to back-to-back wins and a JGR ass whipping so far this first quarter of the season. Denny Hamlin's your winner at Darlington. All right, what were your thoughts on the Cup race?
My Darlington, my sweet Darlington, what have they done to you? Look how look how they've massacred my boy. Like, I did not enjoy this race. I fell asleep. So, I tell y'all all the time, any race I fall asleep on, it automatically ain't good. I've heard people that were at the track that said it was much better than what TV did it justice or injustice. But I can only go off of what I've seen. And even with my international stream and no commercials, like it was a snoozer for me. I'm not even upset that Willie B led, 75, 80% of the laps or whatever. Like, I'm not even upset that Bubba got screwed over by bad luck when it comes to this, that caution. It just didn't feel really good to watch. Like, it seemed like it was pretty much right around after the restart, and it seemed like really no one besides Blaney and maybe Denny at times had anything to move forward. But it seemed like so many races nowadays, it's once you have the restart, wherever you end up in line, like that's it. And you're just riding around at that point, and everyone's going the same speed. And there's nothing you can do, and you can, because of the dirty air, and like you can try to run a different line, but then they can just mirror block you, and the cars just don't seem to have the power. Well, cars don't have the power to overcome it, and it's just so frustrating to watch. I don't need to have 75 lead changes in a race for it to be good. I don't need a photo finish for a race to be good, but it just. And this is maybe the worst insult I can say for a sport, but it's starting to feel very formulaic. Like, it seems like all the time now, it's someone has a big lead, then there's going to be a late caution, we're going to have a pit stop, we're going to get tires, and then we'll have a restart with, let's say, 10 or less to go, but more often than not, it's overtime. And that's how it feels like the majority of the races end now. And I'm kind of over that, man. Like, I just don't want to see the same thing every week. And it starts to feel like the tracks don't really matter as much, right? Like, the formula for winning today was the same as it was at Martinsville. And it kind of was the same as it was the week before that. Like, it's only track position. Like, they can't get out of that bubble, right? Like, if you're in 20th, you're screwed. And we saw that this weekend. As soon as Byron got into traffic, no luck. Couldn't go anywhere. Bubba got in traffic, couldn't go anywhere. Who else? Denny was in traffic, couldn't go anywhere. He got in clean air, took off like a rocket, right? Like, I feel like there has to be. I think this offseason needs to really be a come to Jesus moment, because I did not enjoy that product, I'll say. But there were some interesting moments, right? Like Larson, I found this funny when I was recapping for this. Larson wrecked on lap 4 and then came back out and wrecked again with 4 to go. So he really bookended the race in the exact same way. Greatest driver in the world, but whatever. But yeah, it's so frustrating. Like I said, you have cars that seem to be good. Like Bubba's car seemed to be really good, and he gained a couple spots early on when they're still stacked up, and he got some bad luck and just couldn't ever recover. It seems like with this car, like if you have one bit of bad luck, you're screwed and you can't recover from it. And I did not enjoy it. I didn't like it. I felt like I said, I fell asleep in stage 2, woke up in stage 3, and was kind of groggy till the end. So I would just like to see it better. I mean, I know this like nostalgia bait to post Gen 4 clips and all this on Twitter, and I know some accounts are doing that just to feed for engagement, but I just feel like I said there's better out there. I saw a clip this morning. Someone posted on NASCAR Man on Twitter, posted it's the 1979 Darlington. I'm looking at it as we're talking, and it's DW and Richard Petty, and they literally changed the lead probably 6 times in the last 2 laps. Like, we might have gotten 6 lead changes all race on Sunday after 400 miles. And like, I watched this like 2-minute clip, and I tell you, I was worn out. Like, I was exhausted after watching that clip. I was just so enthralled watching it. And I'd seen it before, years ago, but I just feel like we're kind of like a slot cars at times, where it's just like whatever position you're in, you ride around and then your pit stop. determines your fate, and your restart ability determines your fate. So I'm happy for Denny. He's the all-time JGR wins leader, I believe, is what I
He's
saw.
tied.
Oh, I'm sorry, he's tied. Well, soon to be leader. I'll assume he gets a one more win, but that's a great accomplishment for him. I feel like he should be the leader all time. Right? I feel like if you're a long time team, I feel like your wins leader needs to be someone who is a lifer, right? Like HMS, it's got Jeff. You know, here it'll be Denny. Like I feel like those kinds of figures make sense, and you would want them to be the standard that everyone else is measured against. So good for him. Happy for the scheme. I will not be buying it unless it goes on a deep discount because my pockets ain't elastic like that. But yeah, kind of disappointing, and it sucks because this is one of those tracks I absolutely adore. And like I said earlier, I know it's not the track's fault. It's y'all's fault who put the product out there.
NASCAR fans, warmer weather, roaring engines, and victory lane vibes. It must be NASCAR season. Picture this. You've had an adrenaline packed day at the track. Now you're kicked back by the pool, soaking up the sun, and you're looking to sip something that hits just right. Meet the Ounce of Hope's 5 milligram THC seltzer, a refreshing alcohol free way to unwind with a light buzz and zero hangover. At just $5 for a 16-ounce can, it's the only THC seltzer of its kind on the market and the best deal you'll find. Cheaper than a cocktail at your favorite pit stop. Whether you're winding down after the race day or vibing on a breezy summer night, choose from 4 delicious flavors: peach, cherry, lime, or berry. Ounce of Hope is the trusted cannabis company in Memphis and in all of Tennessee. Ounce of Hope ships federally legal THC and CBD products nationwide and also offers a variety of edibles like mushroom gummies, chocolates, and Rice Krispie treats, plus topicals and oils, all grown and crafted in Memphis, Tennessee for quality you can trust. So, if you're over 21, ready to elevate your race weekend or any weekend, check out ounceofhope.com and use promo code VICTORY for 20% off your first purchase. That's ounceofhope.com, promo code VICTORY for 20% off.
Man, oh man. Well, Art, everything you said, I think a lot of people agree with. Saw a lot of people unhappy about it on my timeline. And I don't want to say that you're unsophisticated and that maybe you just view things too simplistically, but I enjoyed the race. And here's the reason why. It was the Formula One race that I didn't get that morning at the Japanese Grand Prix. It was situated and it aligned very much in the way that a Formula One race plays out, except for the stupid green-white checker finish, where you had a car just dominate for large portions of the race. And then through some sort of pit strategy, things get a little bit off kilter. And then towards the tail end, there's an interesting will this person catch the other person, and then watching that come to fruition was very entertaining. And even the green white checker itself didn't feel as awful as other ones we have witnessed, where you just end up getting constant pileups. Like, I still keep thinking about what I had to endure at Nashville last year, where it was like, oh boy, little green white checker. This, I was already a little bit upset because it was going towards a very good finish at Nashville, and then they decided let's crash 5 extra times and drag it out for another hour. So this was not in that category, but once again, the finish that we would have had organically was going to be fantastic. Watching the 12 car run a different line, he was the only car that seemed like they could get through traffic well. And I agree, that's one of the things with this track. It is relatively narrow, and that dirty air will kill you. And it is also just remarkable, too, how you can go from having a very good car, and the moment you use track position, all of a sudden your car is boo-boo. Like, Bubba had a very solid car, may not have been a race winning car, may have been just a top 10 car, but once that thing got in the pack, it looked like he was in, an old, one of the old 43 cars from, early on in his career. That thing was just struggling. And Yeah, just really surprising how aero sensitive these cars are as you get them further back in the pack, especially if it's a intermediate type track where you can't run a bunch of different lines to sort of get air on the nose. But the way the race played out, I thought it made for it was a slow burn. It was a long burn. I was actually invested to see whether the 24 car could just run out front all day and sort of remain unchallenged. And then the pitch strategy of, hey, coming in at this particular time just really sort of flipped the race on its head. And then it was just, I really enjoyed the whole entertainment of seeing, like, hey, can the 12 car catch the 45? Because one of the biggest tropes in NASCAR is always like, oh, he's catching him, he's catching him. Oh, look at the gap, it's closing. And really, everyone knows, like, yeah, they're not going to be able to catch him, pass him. But like the commentators always get all hyped up about it. This, we actually got to see that. It would have been nice to see Blaney have a good turn of luck and be able to win with what looked to be the fastest car. And then, yeah, we had the last minute caution and the 11 take the win. So I can understand why people did not enjoy it. I can also understand why people were upset. One, about the strange debris caution, and then the green white checkers. Like I said, I mean, it's the deal we've made with the devil. People don't want to watch races finish under caution. I get it. So, yeah, it means you get really good finishes spoiled by something just a little bit more random. So, but yeah, I don't know whether NASCAR needs to go to the extent to just completely soul search. I'm more than happy for them to delve into fixing car issues. I'd love for them to fix the cars. I don't think the cars are, I think they've made some improvements overall, but these past 2 weeks have not been the fantastic start that we had to the season, where the first 6 races, the first 5 races were all just really good outside of Daytona. So, but outside of that, I also want to give a quick shout out to Ty Dillon. He had a really good day. Had it not been for that last caution, he probably would have finished 11th. Really cool to see. I like him.
Yeah, I'll jump back in real quick. The one thing I'll give you that I did love was that, whatever it was, 15 lap, 20 lap stretch where Blaney was hunting down Reddick. That, like you said, that trope is tried and true for a reason. And I mean, Blaney had him dead to rights, right? Like, he had him dead to rights, and he should have won that race. And if it goes green the rest of the way and Blaney pulls it off, I probably have a much better taste in my mouth when it comes to this race coming out of it. But just like I said, it feels like there's a lot of rinse repeat with the end of these races, where someone makes a mistake and gets loose, or just does something wrong, and there's a loose tire or something. There's always just like some calamity that'll happen with like the last 15 laps, and then race control will just ride them around until, but now we gotta go to green, white, checkered, instead of just getting them back out. So if that was fantastic to watch, I'll give them that. And seeing them try to work through traffic, and is Bubba gonna hold him up? Like that. Those laps were really, really engaging, and I will admit, I was fully committed and sat up in my seat to watch that. But as soon as the caution comes out, you just I'm a little deflated, just because we know, not that I know what's gonna happen, but I've seen this scenario so many times in like the last 3 years with this car that if we didn't have any races finish under green, white, checkered for the rest of the season, I'd be completely fine with it. I'm so burnt out on them. I don't need them anymore for a long time.
That's just crazy. Like, you had a good race going. A lot of people, we talked about it last week. People want wrecks and cautions and shenanigans, but sometimes you just have to let the pitch strategy race just race. Like, you don't need a debris caution. Just let pitch strategy go. See the undercut, see the overcut. Like, let the crew chiefs make the money that they're paid to make about how do I put my car in the best position to win the race. And then when something funky wonky happens, all the fun's taken out of it. I really enjoyed stage 1. William Byron not being able to get through traffic and seeing everybody like catch him like so fast. It was like so awesome to see because obviously everybody will fight the leader harder than second place to stay in the lead lap until it's your driver that's fighting the leader trying to stay in the lead lap. I mean, it is what it is. It was what it was. Like I said, I'm thankful that Denny won. I didn't want William Byron after the ass whipping that he laid down. I didn't want to see him just like stink to show up and win. It would have been cool to get a diecast of his car, but we're probably still going to get it since Hendrick and Lionel are show companies of each other. But I didn't mind the race. I was expecting a different outcome. Well, I feel like a lot of good cars got trapped a lap down or got trapped in the back, and they could never recover, the arch point because the car doesn't have any power. You can't run but so many lines because the racing surface at Darlington is 1.5 lanes at best. So there's really not a lot to do unless take 2 tires to get up front. Then you get train wreck because everybody behind you has 4. So, we move. But let's talk about these people not being able to use their 2 eyes to see what happened. So, of course, everybody got the pitchforks out. Oh, Bubba wrecked Kyle Larson. Suspend him. He did it on purpose. Bitch, what? You could NASCAR posted it, Bozy posted it, Gluck said it. Larson essentially slammed on brakes to bring the caution out, which is it's so petty. Like you didn't want Tyler Reddick to win. So like, all right, I'm gonna just have his teammate wreck me, and then that way they can blame Bubba for Tyler losing. You hoe. But I guess we can dive into that a little bit before we move on. Larson slammed on brakes, race manipulation. I expect him to get fined $50,000 tomorrow. I know it's not going to happen, but it's one of those things where it's just like at Vegas when Bubba pushed him on the racetrack and Bubba got suspended. Did he get suspended for that? Because he right hooked him. He got suspended and he got fined, and then they used it in promo. I guarantee you NASCAR is going to do the same thing leading up to the Bristol race weekend. Oh no, Bubba hit Kyle Larson.
I mean, I feel like this is one of those topics where, like, you're either a normal, rational person who has eyes and can understand and have logic, or you're one of those people that foams at the mouth about anything that's related to the black guy. Like, that's literally what it comes down to. Like, if any other driver had been behind Larson, there would have been, a tenth of the outcry, and there would have been so much hand waving of, oh, well, racing incident, like that happens or whatever. But then just because it's Bubba, you get these mouth breathers that just like can't accept the idea that Larson made a mistake when he literally made a mistake, as I mentioned earlier, on lap 4. So like he's clearly not infallible. And like I just look at this thing like, again, like a normal person would. It's just a racing incident. Like Larson fucked up and Bubba ran to the back of him. Like people are these fucking idiots are up there talking about, oh, he should have had better reaction time. Like, bro, they're doing 120 miles an hour. Like, what are you talking about in a corner? Like, what are you talking about? That's how I know you don't know wheel. It just happens. The only thing I will say is that Larson and the FI team as a whole really should not have put themselves in that position to begin with. Like, if you're 160 laps down, there's 4 laps to go. You cannot advance yourself any further. I'm not saying that you should pull off necessarily, even though I'd like that, but I'm not expecting you to do that. But you should just be riding around at the bottom at half throttle whenever a lead lap car is around you. There's no reason for you to be passing cars. I know you got fresher tires, and I get it, whatever. But there's no reason for you to be passing cars and being that close at that point in the race. Like, you have less than nothing to race for at this point. Like your goose is cooked. Your scoring sheet has been filed away at this point. And as a result, you upset the whole race and changed the outcome and, screwed over Blaney. Reddick probably got a worse finish than he would have out of it. He probably would have finished second otherwise. Like, and you gave Denny a win. So it's just a racing incident, but these people have to be stupid and racist. But it's just a reminder, hey guys, Larson is fallible. Like, he's not perfect. He's a damn good race car driver. I'll never take away his talent as a race car driver, but he makes some dumbass mistakes sometimes, and we saw 2 of them this weekend.
Why are we surprised that there's a large swath of NASCAR fans that would buy into conspiracies? I mean, let's be honest here. Here's the part where it doesn't quite add up. If Bubba was going to intentionally bring out a caution or essentially try to manipulate things to help aid or benefit either teammate Tyler Reddick or team owner Denny Hamlin, why didn't he block the heck out of the 12 car when he had the chance? He moved way aside from him. He put up no fight when we saw tons of the Ford cars really racing, as was in their right to do, racing aggressively, trying to maintain their spot on the lead lap against the 45 car. The 45 car had a lot tougher time getting around some of these Fords than the 12 car did, and Bubba could have fought a little bit harder against Ryan Blaney, but he didn't. Why? Because he was already lapped down, and he didn't want to put himself into that. So why would then Bubba do the galaxy brain thing of like, oh, well, when the 5 car stops abruptly, checking up for that, let me just go ahead and ram him and turn him in there so that way Denny can hopefully be in position to win. Like, if Bubba's talent level was where he could think on the fly of that, then he is the greatest driver of all time. So which is it, folks? Is he the worst driver of all time, or is he the greatest mastermind of all of sports, where he can just on the fly think about the implications of creating this accident with a 170 lap down car? So yeah, it doesn't add up. I understand the optics of it makes it seem like it's a bit strange, but once again, there's just a lot. I'm surprised we're even having to give this oxygen, because once again, these are not NASCAR's best and brightest fan base, or NASCAR's best and brightest fans sort of debating this out. But hey, here we are.
I feel like, well, is this the 3rd race in a row he's wrecked in the spring race?
Yes.
It's kind of his thing.
I mean, our narrative here at Victory Lane Vibes stays true. The only person that'll wreck the fastest car because he doesn't know how to drive, Larson. I was going to say the "he's great" thing, but everybody else has already used it as their taglines for the episode, so sad pass. That's some old bullshit. Which leads us to 2311 Corner, where we talk about that old bullshit. I don't know if, like to Peyton's point, I don't know if Bubba had a race-winning car, but damn, I would at least like to have him keep his damn track positions. I can figure it out for ourselves just to watch it and see. I hate days like this. Well, yesterday, because he's fast all day, track position all day, gets stuck in the back. The car effectively doesn't know how to drive anymore because he's stuck in the back, and there's no way to get to the front because y'all want to do all that menagerie of foolishness to trap him a lap down, but then nobody else wanted to do anything until it was 4 to go, and there's a green-white checker, and he's mired back in 20th and can't do anything in 2 laps to get a top 10 back. So at least he got stage points in stage 1. Tyler finishes 4th. Bubba finishes 21st. Riley's there for the vibes and finishes 34th. Yeah, it's just ass. I'm just tired of other people's actions, aka race control, just ruining whatever shot that this man has at getting a win before Kansas. Like, I really want a sticker to be on this car before he gets to Kansas. Like, this is supposed to be, he wins Darlington and gets 1, and then he wins Kansas to gets 2, and now I don't get to have my fun. But let's talk about 2311 Corner. Art, anything you wanted to add in regards to Bubba's day?
I mean, no, not really. I think you pretty much hit on all of it. I'll just say, it was a good showing. Like they had good speed in qualifying. They came off the truck pretty fast. And Tyler had a still rebounded from almost winning, losing that to still getting a good finish. So I'm happy for the team overall. And if you're the 23, yeah, it sucks, but the minor bright side, they got 9 stage points at the end of stage one, which was nice. They had to fight hard at the end on a restart to get those. So could be worse. But yeah, no, I get it. It's frustrating.
Peyton.
Track position, track position, track position. On the 23, it's so I think I've made it pretty clear where I like Tyler Reddick. I'm happy if he's winning, if Bubba's having a good day. I don't love it quite so much when it's Bubba falling well behind and then the 45 car out there winning. Just don't love it. This I can understand. It was more just sort of track position circumstance, and then also this track is just really plays into Tyrek's strong suits. Although this track has also been very strong for Bubba. The only question or only critique I would have from the crew chief, and I get it, it makes sense. You've got to, and Bubba pretty much lost a chance of a really good finish this track last year at the Southern 500, which was not always just taking tires. If there's an opportunity to take tires, you take tires. But I do wonder about taking tires off that initial stop. 8 laps in, or I think actually it might have been for Kyle Larson's accident, taking tires then. And that put him at a little bit of a tire deficit. And then they sort of had to ride that out. And then you had a couple restarts where he had to push hard. And that ate up another set of tires. In the end, it ended up not mattering. But I wonder if it made it a little bit more difficult to get a feel on things when they had to start the second segment essentially on slightly older tires that he had worn through. But in the end, it turned out to be the right thing to do because those stage points you got in stage one turned out to be critical to having a okay points day. If I remember correctly, they were trying to average 30 points per race. They got 25 from here. That's not too far off the average you're aiming for on what was overall a lousy day at the end of the day for them. It's kind of hard to glean whether they gave him the right adjustments because, like I said, dirty air, there's only so many lines you can take. But yeah, just a disappointment. And this was somewhat out of their control. I think they probably could have finished in the top 10, and there's not much you can do about NASCAR waiting to throw a caution. I still think if they throw a caution when he had half spun, it still would have killed him anyway. It's just one of the things in NASCAR, and yeah. So mixed day for the 2311. I like how we don't even acknowledge Riley Herbst on any of these breakdowns.
He out there somewhere.
He's just having a good time, dog. I'm not. He's just having fun. You got to learn.
Yeah, he's a good kid.
This summer vacation for him. Don't worry about it. This is gap year.
He chilling.
He's just finding himself. I'm just looking forward to in 2 years when people are like, oh, they just rushed him up, and like, come on now. Like
they rushed his pockets up.
So
it's just we talk about the car not being adjusted and all that stuff. It's hard when the car is up front and you adjust the car to make it better up front so you can like go take the lead and win. And then like when he gets mired in traffic, all that shit you did like for 4th place ain't gonna work for 25th. Like you gotta take all that shit out of the car. you gotta make it damn near wrecking loose so he can do something with it since the car's gonna be aero tight in traffic. It's just horse shit. I hate this fucking car. Hopefully these torque sensors that they mandated will help out. Maybe since Dodge is getting the Hemi back, maybe NASCAR get their nuts back and get some horsepower back in these cars. We'll find out next year when Dodge announces they're coming back. Don't quote me on that. That's just me. I'm not getting in trouble. Just pipe dreams, hoping and dreaming, wishing. Need a Hellcat in the in the NASCAR Cup Series. Need a supercharger or something.
I mean, if they want to reach some more demographic, never mind.
Moving
Never
on.
Are you
mind.
talking about getting the Ultima?
I don't know if they want the ultimate demographic. But anyway, never mind. Never mind. Stop.
I love it, Hannah.
Light's too bright.
This is gonna be the easiest one ever. It's gonna be one person. It's Larson. We agree. Let's move on.
Facts, brother. Like you are.
But you've got to pick which Larson interaction.
Nope. It's a weekend achievement award. You know, you got lifetime achievement awards. This is a weekend achievement award.
You got it for the whole weekend, dog. Like you.
We're not
The
even gonna
fourth
debate
lap
this one.
of the race, brother. The fourth lap of the race, and then like the booth was like, "Oh, somebody he hit him. Who hit what? He spun out on his own." It wasn't like when Josh Berry spun in a similar manner and crashed the road. Tyler had a little bit of play in that, but Larson just lost it and went nose first, and then this poor team had to go put the whole front end on the car, and then he just wants to, oh yeah, my brakes. Fuck ass.
Not necessarily completely lights too bright, but I will say this: if you're a Ford driver and there's Tyler Reddick involved in this track, you're gonna have a bad day. Because remember, he killed the 17 car last year. This car this year, he killed the 21, and then also once it looked like there was a Ford on its way to beating the 45, old Bubba. Exactly, old Bubba hit the spin 'em button and said, "Nope, Tyler's not having that." So. Yeah, any Ford driver, you're going to be, if you're around the 45 at Darlington, you're about to see the light of God. He's about to make sure your day ends on the lift back.
Nose deep in the firewall, I believe, is the goal.
So, hey, maybe he had some dirt on Henry Ford, and you just don't want to see him win at this old track or something. But yeah, old Tyler Reddick,
Hey,
he doesn't
man,
like
they
them
keep
blue
talking
overs.
about xenophobia and the political scheme.
Whoa,
Definitely goes on, and you know what? Open mic.
Where are you taking this?
I was going to go somewhere. I was going to take us on the
You
dark,
don't
deep,
need
dark,
to.
dark road. Dark road.
I'm not editing tonight, so whatever you say is getting left in.
That's why I said we're going to just hold it. We're going to reel it back because I already know I know what time it is. We go in post. Open mic. Anyone? Bueller.
I enjoyed my marathon that I ran yesterday, and one of my favorite things about the marathon is I feel like it triggers the same sort of bodily functions that your body does when it's dying. It does it at like mile marker 22. Art, you've run several marathons. You know there's a points in the race where you're so far along, you're like, you know what? Whatever happens. And I'm just talking like if you have to stop and walk, like your body's like, you know what? Like that. I'm not talking about soiling yourself. Why were you, wait, hold on. Why were you
I thought you were gonna say
soiling yourself.
I didn't think you were gonna say soiling yourself. I thought you were gonna say you reach a point where you're like, if I die, I die. That's what I was there to say. It's like, yeah, I accept that. Every marathon I go into, I'm like, hey, this might be it. Like,
no.
Never mind.
I simply accept the whole aspect where it's like, hey man, if I need to stop and walk, you've done a good job today. It's okay. Everyone's gonna be all right with you, and it's just okay. And I feel like the human mind does the same thing when it looks like it's about your time to go. The body has this system that sort of makes you feel comfortable and says, hey, everything's gonna be okay. I like how a marathon triggers that same sort of synapse, that same sort of closing out sequence. So it's fun to do this voluntarily, but yeah. It was a good day. I ran a smart race, caught some people at after mile marker like 23. That was good. It was a good day. Caught the pace group that I was trying to chase down for 24 miles, and that is hugely satisfying. Like, wish everyone else could experience what it's like to have a pacer up ahead that you've been looking at and just trying to make incremental gains on for 3 hours and like 38 minutes and then passing them and then leaving them. It is the slowest long play you'll ever experience. I can't get it.
My whole stance on it is what's the quote old boy said? I'm not lifting until I see God or a checkered flag. I'm not lifting until I see God or a PR. That's all I care about, boy. Like I ain't stopping for nothing. So
In
you know
case
that
you want to
quote.
get in on the fun, Peyton and Art are marathon runners, and the money line has changed given
Man, y'all
yesterday's
suck.
recent events.
Y'all suck.
Peyton is now the favor by 150. He's the favorite over the 1v1 Art versus Peyton 26.2. We have so the way that Carl and I currently have it bet, Peyton's on the money line and we're betting Art to cover the spread. So seemingly you can't lose, but we have to figure out where we're going to do this because Peyton's going to be in Indy.
Listen, is India flat course, Peyton?
It is. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to be there, but it is an extremely flat course. Here's the thing. You're a faster runner, but now at this phase, I'm sort of thinking that I might be the more cerebral participant here. You've got all the gifts, all the athleticism.
So you're saying I'm an idiot?
No, I'm saying I'm a workman-like guy.
So you're saying I'm too dumb to know when to slow down?
You just said I'm fine with dying, and meanwhile I'm sitting here saying, well, if I feel bad, I'm going to start walking.
See, that's the difference between you and me. That's how I know I'll win.
I'm a cerebral guy. That's all I'm saying is I'm like, you're like a Lamar Jackson, and I'm like...
Be careful. Be careful.
That's
you're about to take into dangerous territory. I don't know where you're going, but...
I'm just trying to think of what's the, key quarterback they always use to compare the black quarterback to. It's like, oh yeah, Lamar, he's just a pure athlete.
You're Phillip Rivers. That's you. You are.
Wow.
Yeah, you're Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a thinking man. I'm a thinking man's runner.
Wow, that's crazy. How you're just telling me I'm too...
No,
you're basically saying I'm the equivalent of a brick on a gas pedal. Just straight ahead, no thoughts, just...
Yeah, so what you're essentially saying is
right.
It all comes back to Art being a Larson fan because they're one and the same.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Crazy.
You might crash
crazy.
out. You might crash out 2 miles into a place.
When is Indy, Peyton?
I'm not running that race, but it's in.
Let's go run that race.
I mean, he's going to the 500. Well,
no, he knows what I'm talking about. We're talking about the marathon.
Yeah, fly me out there. We'll go run it, and you'll beat me. But I want some of the money.
Cowards, all of you. That's
yeah,
this is
coward.
Why you walk. People who run for sport need to be studied.
I want the people to know they wanted me to have like a 2.5 minute handicap.
I think that's fair.
Peyton, we're not that far apart in age. You're not 80 years old.
Age has nothing to do with it.
Speed has a lot more to do with it.
We're in the same... That's not my problem, though. It's not my fault.
Do you not understand how gambling works? If
we're in the same age bracket.
Against, Tennessee Christian Bible Academy in a football game, you're not just going to say, well, let's see what happens. You're not going to get any action. You have to handicap it, Arthur. So that way you get even action.
Have a little faith in yourself. You just ran a marathon, damn it. Have some backbone. Have some pride.
About 30 minutes slower than you're capable of. I'm just saying, I'm trying to get us some money, and you're messing up the operation, saying, you just got to do a heads up. No. I'd favor Art by 2.5 minutes on a 5K course.
The people that run know that's a hose job.
I think you should come to Richmond, Peyton. We can settle this easily. I'll make a phone call tomorrow.
All right, fly me up.
Fly, boy.
Fly me out, boy.
How much money do you think we have? What is this?
Because I guarantee you, it's less than that.
Absolutely, it's less than
that. All right, then a train ticket. I just gotta figure out where a train is.
How do you take a train from? You know what? Thank you all for being here. Thank you for listening. Tell your mammies, tell your Grammys, like, comment, subscribe, follow us, add us everywhere. Yeah. What's next week?
We'll be back.
Bristol. We'll have the pitchforks fired up again. The torches I can't say that.
Oh God, it's gonna be so.
We'll be
bad.
Back. We'll be back. Just because last spring we got the best next gen car race that we've ever had in the history of this car. All because it was too cold. Somebody made the rubber a little too hot, and we had calamity, and it was fantastic. I don't think we're getting.
You want to talk about chasing a hive, man? We've been chasing.
I've been chasing it since.
A long time.
I need that back.
Yeah, it ain't coming.
The dopamine levels have never been higher. It was, oh man, cinema.
That is the rarest race that I will say. The people at home got so much better of an experience than the people in the stands.
Facts.
Because I was sitting there with my scanner, having no idea what was going on, just seeing cars just going wildly different speeds, people just blowing up, getting covered in tire dust. It was the most frantic thing I've ever seen in my life, and then just watching everyone like saying, "This is amazing." I'm like, "What's going on?"
You know, I'll tell you this: that race and the Indy road course race,
man,
when it was just a complete mess. Let me tell you something. Now, I've said out here before, I don't want that every week. I don't want a demolition derby every week.
It's time though.
But I tell you what, those 2 weeks, I was never more locked in. I was never more locked in than I was those 2 weeks.
Blackstone Grill cooking, hibachi cooking.
I can hear it in my ear right now when like Logano wrecks coming out of that chicane at the Indy road course, and Dale Jr.'s like right in front of him. It's like, this car's still wrecking. Like, of course, it is Dale Jr. way. I just, oh man,
cinema, man.
We used to eat so good.
Don't use that as an invitation to bring Indy road course back, please. I'll tear my eyes out with a spoon.
You know, I'll give you one last thing, and then we can actually drop. So I've seen a lot of things on Twitter since Sunday's race. I guess, like I mentioned, with the Gen 4 stuff, and you know, people try to hype it up, and like, you know, we're very realistic. I think all of us on this show. Well, Bonte maybe not, but most of us are pretty realistic on this show to say that, like, you know, the Gen 4 was great, but we're not gonna act like every week was perfect, right? Like, there were some weeks where like somebody, it might have been, you know, Gordon, Johnson, Harvick, whoever, like just ran away with it, right? But more often than not, it's a better product. And it just, today's product for me just kind of dulls the senses. And I came up with a perfect analogy that I'm going to try to use to explain to like fans who maybe listen to us who didn't watch back then, and maybe it's only seen like a one-off and didn't watch it week to week. 2 years ago, I think I've told this story off air, but I may have told it on air. I don't remember, but fuck it. We're doing it again. 2 years ago, I went on vacation. I went to China for 2 weeks. And when I was in there, the you know, my family, the people that were hosting me, whatever, they fed us, and they gave us a lot of fresh fruit. And the fruit in China, if you don't know, is a billion times better than American fruit. Like a billion times better. Like the oranges, the grapes, the strawberries, like everything. Like it is like you're listening in your car stereo and you turn the volume all the way up. That's what Chinese fruit is like. And then American fruit, it's like the volume all the way back down, like 2 out of 10. It don't taste as good. It's not as juicy, like whatever. That is how I feel when I watch the Gen 7 car. It is the volume turned all the way down, and it is not as bright. It is not as loud. It is not as exciting. It's still fruit, but it does not hit at all like what I had at that one time. And once you have the 10 out of 10, 2 out of 10 is terrible. Like, I tell you what, I've had barely any fruit. My doctor probably wishes I had more, but I've had barely had any fruit in 2 years because I don't want it, because it sucks. And it's depressing. I go to the store and I'm like, oh, I don't want that shit. Like, I know what's out there. And so that's how I feel about the Gen 7. I'm like, I don't want this shit. I know what is possible and what's better. So I'm just going to leave you on that. Now, I don't have a point to make, but that's just how I feel about Gen 4 versus Gen 7. And I'd love to be wrong and that it'd be great, but just know the next time you eat some fruit, there's someone on the other side of the world eating fruit that's much better and much cheaper than what you had. And that's how I feel about the cars. Mm-hmm. I just want to get some context, because I don't. There's a counter argument that's made that says that, like, oh, you're glazing the mid 2000s and that, you know, every race wasn't good, and like that wasn't the case, but like It was better than what we got now. So
Yeah, just torque sensors, please give this data to Dodge. Dodge, please convince NASCAR to put the Hellcat in the Gen 7 and everybody can be happy. Horsepower. All this polo on. I got horsepower. And that's this week's show. Good night, y'all. We'll see y'all in Bristol. Bye-bye. Cutie Music Art. Monte, you suck.